Hey. So I fixed a little bit of the mic, some EQs, RME total mixes, everything here and there, blah blah blah. So about this video, this will be a hot one. It's a long one, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible. It will focus on my parents in general, the parents before them, my father, heavily on my father and the experience I had with him, and ways of him conducting himself, which I am not approving of, but what can you do? And I want to just say this is my way of seeing it. This is my experience. There will be some objectivity to take in this, but yeah, this is my experience with my situation. So the story, as I started with my journey, as I put the first nail in the business thing. So business is an enormous thing. A lot of skills go into business, but let's say as I started here and there, I slowly tried to learn from Alex, some video here and there, watch YouTube all day, write down, blah blah. And so I have some idea. I get inspired by some guy, and I enthusiastically go and present this idea. And maybe I presented it in a wrong way, but the first time I present, I say this, that. There were, the thing is, the way that he does not accept things objectively, let's say, I don't know, maybe that's because of his past experiences, his beliefs. Because of those experiences, it's a really a hard nut to crack. What I want to say, I present the idea, and his whole, let's say, his whole vibe, what's a more common word for you guys, his whole vibe, his whole energy screams with disbelief and no vision. Not no vision, maybe it's no vision because of not educating, not getting in the new era of things. And he was so repellent to the idea that it wouldn't work, and it was very toxic. It was basically because he doesn't believes in himself. He makes me don't believe in myself either, because that disbelief in him is made so strong. He's been broken. Anyhow, the thing got heated a little bit. I stayed demotivated for 3 days. I couldn't do anything, but yeah, I tried to do. Time passes, blah blah. I continue my journey. I chuck through it. I did learn, business, consume. And I learn a few things here and there, a little bit more about. And again, I got some idea. I'm doing, I think I forgot to mention, he did have really objectively good points in the first, let's say, fight. And I respect that. Those are objective points of experience. But the thing is, those points were from 15 years ago. And although they may have some truth in them, they are not so relatable, and they're kinda worn out, let's say. Anyhow, time passes. I just get another idea. All I'm trying to do with this thing is get us out of the financial problem. So everybody has to get that survival aspect sorted. So, and I do this, I do that. I learn a little bit, and I go again with great enthusiasm, like it's gonna work, like, and I present this, that. Same thing from him, exactly same thing. No capital, you can do this. Totally different ideas. Same reply in tone. I don't even need to hear his words. His tone. 90% of communication is tone. I can talk to you like that and you could probably understand some bits, but if you try harder, you could understand everything. So you understood that, you know? It doesn't have to be words. Cool, ha. So, and we get to this, the fight heats up. Well, we go back and forth, same thing. And I was so furious again because, again, he did have very good objective points and he's right about some things. But like he doesn't want, and he's a very open-minded person, but he doesn't want to get the new era, the modern aging of thinking. I don't know how to even describe this because it is leaving me feeling so furious because I can't reach him with my point. Whatever I say, his response and tone is, I don't believe in that doesn't work, and that's it. And so the fight goes, builds up, and you say you need this, you need, and I say to him, unknowingly, I was unconsciously a little bit more prepared for this fight, and so I say, do you have any capital? And he says, I don't have any capital. And I say, so don't you think we should think a little bit different now, since you don't have capital? And he just looks at me and nods his head, and the thing goes down. And we continue on the self. I am still demotivated for 2 or 3 days, but I feel better about myself. And what was this thing? Because I learned something, his disbelief of the thing did not destroy my belief of the thing, which is very cool. That's how you make it in the world. The social disbelief pressure. If I present this idea that I had there to everybody in my circle, their main built-in response, unconscious response is, that doesn't work. They don't believe in it. Nobody will believe in you. Nobody. Okay, 2 weeks later, again, we in the living room. He has his friends in it. We still didn't have finished the other rooms. I'm in the other room right now, and they talk here and there. I have my headphones on. Eventually, from time to time, I turn around to talk a little bit. His friends are also a little bit business oriented. They want to talk about it. They're not deprived of it. They would talk about it. And so what happens? From here and there, I just go back and say something. Yeah. We trying to ask. Also at that time, I was learning to ask better questions. And I was asking a lot of why questions. A little bit more on that later. And again, we start talking about with his friends about this business thing. 1, 2, 3 here and there. And the thing went into another direction, not about business literally, but about a thing that happened on the street with me and a policeman. Not really important. But what was the key point here? His whole tone was the same as before. Before in the 2 fights, everything I said to get my point across from my point of view did not reach because of his disbelief. And I knew I was right, and I am right because I prepared. I learned something. I knew I didn't even need to believe in myself. And the fight heated up as I tried to again get my point across. And this is the third time in 1.5 months trying to get my point across. And I'm furious here. Like, I still can't do anything. Like, everything I say, even today it happened. The same thing. Like he has his own wall, a bubble, And that's it. Only that works. You have to get hard copy, hard proof to break that wall, And maybe that's not entirely his fault, but it would take a lot of work to punch at that wall, to take it down, just for him to start accepting the entry of my point, not even understanding it. That's another wall behind it, anyhow. So again, and at that point I say to myself, I will never try to disclose a business idea to him ever again, because every time he just gets his enormous, humongous mountain of disbelief onto me, because someone else got it onto him and he was not prepared enough to fight it. So he kind of accepted that limiting disbelievability. Blah, blah, blah. However, but I knew something else that didn't get to me. I was my own thing, and that was really cool. He had 3 businesses which were going pretty well, but they failed. I don't know for the exact reason. I was a little bit small. I know something here and there, but not really important. I didn't mention before their mindset and their biggest mistake. What's their biggest mistake? Having 3 businesses are worth nothing if you quit. He had quit. His whole generation is broken. My uncle, my mother, my other uncle, they are all broken. They're brokies. Brokey is not a state of bank account. Brokey is a state of mind. They had quit. All that business experience is for nothing if you quit. And I get it. Maybe it's hard. Maybe they had a good run. Maybe they have given up. There was a lot of things that happened. But that doesn't really matter, does it? They had quit. They had given up on life. They just walk around like ghosts, waiting for the final rest. And that's not okay, because they haven't done their mission here, and they will go feeling bad. This has to happen. The day is coming when I ask him why. The thing about why, that night when his friends were here, he also critiqued me about I should stop asking why questions, very direct why questions. I will have a video following up on this, but a really cool stuff when you ask people why questions, like when you ask what's your problem, mate, like what's keeping you up at night, they do really crack like nuts, because you're interested in their problem, Everybody has a problem, you know? And when you ask about that thing, they don't care if it was uncomfortable. They just see through it that you care for their problem. Anyhow, another video. So he critiques me on this, and that week I had like 5 testimonials of proofs that this thing works. This thing helps people. Just asking them questions and getting them through their thought process. But he ends up critiquing me, and I say strongly with furiousness, well, I have 5 proofs that what you're saying is not true. He said, with those questions you're not getting anywhere. Well, his disbelief got disbelieved, got known, like anyhow. So what am I saying? Why am I saying this? The thing about disbelief is that the biggest moral of the story here is nobody will believe in yourself, not even you, if the social pressure is big. That is why you don't need to believe in yourself. You have to know in yourself. What do I mean by knowing yourself? Know, as in K-N-O-W, know in yourself. Because when you believe in yourself, if your belief is stronger than theirs, than the social disbelief pressure, you could go for it. But when you know, not even you can disbelieve in yourself, because you know, because you prepared, because you studied. And that's how I felt going from fight 1 to fight 4 or 3. Like with every fight, I gained more me, even though he has his 50 years of experience and his father before him. I know. I don't believe in me. I don't care that he disbelieves in me, so my belief also gets a crack on me. I know in myself because I read, I prepared, and that is the key difference here. Between believing in yourself is nice, is good, but it's a lie. Knowing yourself is the best thing you can have, and you know yourself by preparing, by having things done, like the thing I did with the questions. He says those don't work, blah blah blah. He has never tried them. That's his belief. Like he thinks those are just direct and people feel about them. Like people would really feel uncomfortable when they get asked those questions. But your point with those questions is that you help them solve their biggest problem, which they wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And that overshadows every uncomfortableness. They crack like nuts. They spring like springs. Like, you know, a spring, like water spring in spring. Doesn't really matter. That is the main difference between Jesus and Shiva. My final thoughts on this is that this could have been conducted a little bit better. I have a big script that is really well written, but I don't want to read it. I just get reminded myself what I want to say. But this was written like 1 week ago and kind of flew off. That's another lesson I learned today. You forge the steel when it's hot, you know? You don't leave things for later. That's what I learned today. And with doing this, and this could have been conducted much better. But anyhow, what I want to say is they are a generation of broken people. I said this already. They had one big mistake. They gave up because the social pressure was too big. They were not prepared. They were not studied enough in themselves. They did not have it in them, not because they did not want to have it in them because they, yeah, I don't know, but I think they could have done a little better. Maybe it's their parents' fault before them, but they could have really done a lot better. I see their mistakes. They definitely tried hard. Maybe life got at them, but that's what life is. If it gets you, nothing really matters, if you give up. And I don't want to say, I don't know what to say. Is that okay? Is it not? It is okay to some extent, but it is not to another extent, because their fathers and mothers, my grandparents, cared for them, for themselves, for their parents, and for me right now. And my fathers and mothers and fathers, that generation, uncles, blah blah blah, can't even care for themselves. This is where they fail. They have gone soft, Maybe it's the transition, maybe it's the other time, but those are just excuses. If they were willing enough, they would find a way. But what can you do? As their parents worked for 4 generations, now I would have to do the same. I would have to work for my grandparents, for my parents, for me, and my children. So, up and down. Anyhow, this got a little bit mixed up. I don't want to explain myself. Believe in yourself. Know in yourself. Do not give up. Nobody is going to believe in you. Nobody is going to know in you except you. Not even your nearest people. Nobody. If you don't have that thing in you, like, I know it's going to work, nobody will. Trust me. None of them. I don't know what he has to be. Not even God. You. Only you. And you do that by preparing, researching, trying. But you have to have some kind of, even one string to the point. You have to have it. No way back. Be careful, they love you a lot, but that doesn't mean they would believe in you, because what they had consumed, what they experienced was that of that consumption, what it got them, how their life conducted, other kind of environments made them what they are today. And they don't believe in themselves, and you expect them to believe in you. And when you try to get them to know in you, they haven't done level 1. They haven't started even believing in themselves. After starting to believe in themselves, start getting to know in themselves, then you're level 3 of that equation, Then they can start believing you, then knowing in you. Far away from that. Forget them. No way. And yeah, it's sad. I would try to not be with my other guys like this. I would try to apply this lesson to the new generations that I go around with. So the same thing happened on a dinner a day ago. So with my uncle, I really respect my uncle. Like, he has taught me a lot of things, same as my father. They always had very objective things, very thoughtful things to say. And we're sitting on the table here and there, blah blah. And the situation gets a little. Me and he talk him it's only deep. There's nothing else. There's no shallow talk between him. And so we talk on the table, blah, blah, blah. And we talk about his problem. I start to ask questions, like I start to uncover him, and he starts opening up like never before, because I'm asking the questions. And he asked me back, what do you know about this? And I have never seen him like this before. You do not understand me. What do you mean by this? And I say, I do this 12 hours every day, this, that. What do you... He asks me sarcastically, like, do you think you're working? What are you doing? And at that point, the thing gets back at me from the past 4 situations. Here it is again. And I say, no, man, I know in myself. He says, you ain't doing anything with those 16 hours. Did you get anything useful? And I in myself, no, I know that I got something useful. Your disbelief mountain cannot affect me like it affected you your whole life. And maybe you got your disbelief mountain from your father, or I don't know, your surroundings. But anyhow, that is the point where you need to bounce that off. Like, anyhow, you need data, not imagination. But that's all done by them unknowingly, unconsciously, because, yeah, you can try, but I don't know. Would take a lot of work, and I don't have that time right now. Even yesterday, he says his joint hurts, and I know, because I know his state. This is about my father. I know his state, how he conducts him because of the previous encounters. And I say, like, there's this exercise you can do to free up the joints a little bit. You can get better here and there. And I say, you have to try it for 15 seconds. It's a little bit of commitment. And he tries. And as he tries that shit, I try to explain so hard, get the point across, that he needs to do it. And he does it with disbelief. He does it like this. And I just gave up at that point. I know what's next. And next thing, and as I'm giving up, he gets a little bit mad. And I say to him, and he asks, like, what is it? And I say, if you want your joints to get fixed, I have proof. It worked on me. I've been doing it. That was one of the commitments. I've been doing it for 1 month. If you want it fixed, you do 3 minutes every day of this exercise, and you will do it like you love it. And he says jokingly, you said 15 seconds. And I say, man, you're not serious. And I just walked out. And he's not serious about some set, and that's okay. But that's another talk about... What was the talk about? Let me search for it, and I'm done. The thing I understood at that moment, you can't force anybody to do something if they don't want it. Nobody. I don't know, give them money, give them everything. If they don't want it, you can't force them to do it. That's another video. I have it ready up. Anyhow, this is long. It's a really cool thing about belief. And yeah, it's crazy out there. Believe in yourself. Thank you.